So I'm calling your church to test to see if they would help feed a starving baby. And right now I'm about to call Germantown Baptist Church located in Memphis, Tennessee. And we are going to see if they would be willing to feed a starving baby.
Thank you for calling Germantown Baptist Church. Please listen carefully as our menu options have changed. Press 1 for our address. Press 2 for worship service information, or press 0 for the operator.
Germantown Baptist Church.
Hi, yeah. I was wanting to see if you all could help with a small can of baby formula.
If we can help with what? I'm sorry.
Like a small can of baby formula.
Let me get the pastor on call for you. Let me place you on a hold. One moment, please.
Thank you for calling Germantown Baptist Church. Please listen carefully as our menu options have changed.
Thank you, ma'am. I saw you hung up, and I was like, oh no, I'm going to have to call her back. But my system was jammed up, so I couldn't see who was actually on call. And I'm like, what is going on? And it's not working. And I usually print that out, and I didn't this time, but I'm just gonna walk back there and see, okay?
Okay.
Okay, one moment.
Okay.
Hello?
Hi, yes. I was just wanting to see if y'all were able to help with baby formula at all.
We unfortunately are not. We have a benevolent program, but it is for us.
It's just for the members, because like I have a 2-month-old and she hasn't ate like since last night, so she's gone all night, all day without any formula. Like I don't need money or anything. I just need like a small little can, and I've been calling everywhere, and they're just telling me to call churches, and I just don't know what else to do.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have any formula here to give out or any kind of food bank thing like that.
Would it be something you all could get and I could pick it up?
What's that?
Would it be something you all would be able to get and I can pick it up?
Well, seeing if it's anything like that, our benevolence is for our members.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Christians and churches are responding after a woman went viral for calling churches asking for baby formula for her starving baby, and most of them turned her down. And what some of them are saying is absolutely wild. One church said what that woman is doing is evil and even compared it to witchcraft. He said this woman is a liar. She is indulging in trickery. She has the spirit of a witch, and if she comes near our church, she will be dealt with swiftly. This church, who also turned her down over the phone, said if a mother in need was at the doors of our church, raise your hand if you would help her. And when a majority of the people raised their hands, he said, that's the only social experiment that I need. And this pastor of another church who also turned her down said that we are not obligated to help in a situation like this. And the only reason the mosque did is because they're obligated to by their faith. He said they get hundreds of scam calls and people wanting money, and they can't prove that she's actually in need. Let me know what you guys think about this whole situation, and as always, I'll keep you guys updated.
I keep seeing all y'all put y'all 2 cents in, all these churches who are saying no, that they cannot provide a mom with formula and this and this and that, all of these discourses. But do you know what's actually blowing mine that I have not seen anybody talk about? Is the fact that if I worked for the church, which I used to be a very heavy churchgoer, if I was working in the church and I got that phone call, if the church, for whatever fucking reason, could not provide that mom with formula, why didn't the person who picked up the phone also bother to help? I can't actually fathom talking to a mom and she's telling me that she doesn't have a can of formula to feed her newborn baby, and me being like just able to hang up the phone and go on about my motherfucking day. That would bother me. And if for any reason the church couldn't help, I would have been like, where can I meet you? I could buy it for you. Like, out of my pocket. Fuck the church's pocket. Like, out of my pocket, I would be willing to help you. the church is this, the church is that. Honestly, quite frankly, and no offense, but that shit is not surprising to me. Like that, I'm actually surprised that y'all are surprised. What I am surprised about is that mostly women, I hear a lot of women are the ones who are picking up the phone, and y'all are like yourselves are not bothering to help. You are the church. Fuck the actual building. Fuck the administration. Fuck the system of it. You, in your heart, in your soul, are the church. Why are you not bothering to help?
This is hilarious. Tension is rising and building across America as millions of families face the harsh reality of losing food stamp benefits after Trump cuts. Well, mothers are crying, fathers are frustrated, and children are going to bed on empty stomachs.
A church that denied the mom who was calling to see if they could give her baby formula has put out an official statement. Waverly Church in Tennessee is a beautiful example and demonstration of what we call DARVO, which is a known manipulation tactic that people who have narcissistic, abusive, and manipulative behavior use when they are confronted with the truth and are being asked to be accountable for their bad behavior. I'm going to put it up in 1 second, but am I surprised that the church is not taking accountability? No, I'm not surprised at all. Am I continuously disappointed with them? Yep. I'm going to spend the next couple of days looking at the church's Facebook pages and their website pages to see how they're responding. So go ahead and follow along if you want to check that out.
The thing that is mind-boggling about the lady that's calling the churches to see if they would donate a can of formula and they got a crying baby in the back is the fact that so many churches told her no. The sad thing about it is that this could actually be somebody's reality because SNAP benefits have been canceled and there's so many people that get help from SNAP to be able to get formula for their babies. The real messed up thing about the situation is that the people... Hey, you over there back there tripping. I'm trying to tell people about what's going on with the lady calling the churches. And our churches told her, no, you gotta be a member. Gotta be a member? My baby is hollering, crying because he's hungry. He called so many different churches. The ones that actually helped her without hesitation was the Black church and the mosque. The moral of her doing this social experiment is because the church is supposed to be a place where we can go for help, seek God, and those people are supposed to be working for the Lord. I would think that they would be able to help and give back to the community that pours into the church with tithes and things of that nature. If I was at the church and I was on that phone on the other end of the line and somebody called me and told me that they 2-month-old baby has not eaten, where you at? What you need? You need me to come to you or you finna come to me? What kind of formula the baby need? Cause I got you. He really got these churches showing their true colors. It should be about helping others and giving back, not just collecting a bag and the pastor got a new house and the pastor got a new car. Come on now. Help the real people out here, right, baby? Hey, y'all, I'll call you back, man.
If we're being honest, that lady exposed a lot today. The lady was going around asking for baby formula, doing a social experiment. It exposed the capital C church. It exposed those churches specifically. But on the other hand, I'm also not surprised that the Muslims agreed right away and asked 2 simple questions. Where are you at and what formula do you need? Which is the only questions everybody should have been saying through the phone. But I've been around some Muslims and they're like the most generous group of people I've ever been around. Like it's like generosity runs through their blood. But as the capital C church, we look bad. We look bad today, and that's something we gotta learn. We gotta do better. That was bad.
There's a lady on here calling churches to see if they would help feed a hungry baby. And many of those churches are saying no. And if a church isn't helping to feed the hungry, then what exactly is it doing? But see, that's because many people have kept the title and lost the way. Many people claim the title of Christian, but have lost the ways and teachings of Christ. And I, as many of you, are not surprised by the results of this social experiment because we've seen people use religious teachings of love to justify their political agendas of hate consistently. We've seen people claim to be Christians with their words in their mouth, but their actions tell a different story. Their heart posture is not even aligned with compassion. We've seen people go out of their way to harm those in need instead of helping them. Because, see, we're actually called to help people. Feed the hungry, help the sick, invite and welcome the stranger, help those in need. Yet, The people who claim to be Christians and use the title of Christianity often act antithetical to the true teachings of Christ.
All these churches that can't buy formula for a baby. If I answered the phone, if I worked at a church and I answered the phone, somebody needed something for a baby, I'm going to automatically tell them, come down here. I will give you the money to go get that formula for that baby. I don't care who it is. I cannot believe the churches that are telling this lady no. It's a social experiment, but still, they're telling her no. And you can hear the baby crying in the background because she's got a recording of it. Really? What has this world come to? That you can't even feed a baby. I mean, come on now. She had the video I saw, she had 33 no's and 9 yeses. What are y'all doing with all this money that the church parishioners are putting in? You know, it would be better if you go to church to take that money and help somebody. Don't give it all to the church. What does the church need with all of that money? Because they're definitely not helping. I'm getting mad. Helping the community. I'm so sick of this. Anyway, her name is Natalie. Go look at her videos. Just type in Natalie calling churches about baby formula. Yeah, I'm going to see if I can tag her.
There's a girl on TikTok that makes videos of her calling churches, different churches, and she has a recording playing in the background of a crying baby, and she asks these churches if they can help her with a small can of formula to feed her starving baby. And let me tell you something, it would make you sick at the number of churches that tell her no. But you want to know the church that I never once heard tell her no? The Church of Islam. I heard 2 or 3 videos where she called the Church of Islam, and every one of them bent over backwards to help her.
One of the most fascinating things about this social experiment going so viral across social media is how it is happening at a time where certain powers that be are trying their very hardest to spread as much hatred and fear and lies against Islam and Muslims as they possibly can. I mean, they are trying so hard. Yet in the midst of all of this effort, all of this plotting and planning they're doing, a non-Muslim woman who's an army veteran decides to call different religious organizations in America to see who will help her starving baby with just a small can of formula. And while the majority is refusing to help her, who, without hesitation, is there to help her starving baby? The Muslims. The very same people that are constantly being slandered. So then this story gets hundreds of millions of views across the internet, further revealing the truth about what Muslims are really like, what Islam really teaches, what positive contributions Muslims are here to make in America, while completely exposing all of the liars for who they are and the false agenda they are trying so hard to push. It really is a sight to see.
A lady on TikTok is calling churches with a crying, screaming baby in the background, asking for baby formula, and the amount of churches that are telling her no or hanging up on her is insane. It's mind-boggling how there has been a huge uproar of pro-life, but the same people are saying oh, I believe this way because of my religious beliefs. They won't help the baby that's here on earth that they begged for the person to have. I'm gonna tag the creator below so y'all can scroll through her page, but so far the only people that have said yes to her have been masjids, aka mosque, and black churches. This is a really interesting social experiment, but it also breaks my heart for the children out there. People claim they love and spread love, but do they really?
If it's not the church's responsibility to feed people when they're hungry or put a roof over their head when they need shelter, why do they exist? And why are they tax exempt? The churches are the only organizations that claim to be a charity organization that have no obligation to actually provide a service to the community. Any other nonprofit organization that claims to be a charity organization, if they didn't follow through on the promises that they've given to the community, their tax exempt status would evaporate. There's a woman right now that's calling dozens of churches, seeing if they'll feed her baby, and most of them are saying no. And there are Christians that go to church every Sunday that are saying, well, yeah, because it's not their responsibility. No one expects them to do that. Joel Osteen already proved that you don't have to provide people with shelter during even an emergency situation. So they're certainly not going to help people when there's a housing crisis. And they're certainly, on the whole, not going to feed people when there's a food crisis in America. Frankly, it's hilarious that I'm sitting over here stressing about how I'm going to get nonprofit status for an organization that I want to try and start to help give children a community space that's music education centric, kind of like a community band hall for every kid, even if they can't afford to be in band or participate in school music. And I'm like, am I going to get nonprofit status for an organization like that if I don't follow through with my promises? If I don't follow through with that organization on the promises that I'm giving to my community, am I going to get my nonprofit status taken away? Am I going to get taxed? Am I going to get in trouble legally? And churches just don't. They don't care about any of that. They just do whatever they want to do, and they don't help the people in need that are in their community. And yet nobody questions their tax exempt status. Why do they even exist? Aside from the religious aspect, Jesus said, wherever two people gather, I am there. Churches don't have to exist.
I love it. I love it. I love it. You clap right up to her. So, number one, why should this be so special? Last night as you were leaving the office, I said all day, folks say I cried. I've cried. I'm not a crier, but I've cried for days. And she sat there doing work at the other desk, and she said, Dad, I wish you cried. I said, I can't help it. I can't help it. I thought if that's true, he that goes forth weeping, bearing precious things, shall doubtless come again, rejoicing, bringing the sheaves with them. Last night Jeff Hoboken, they don't have TikTok. I have TikTok, but TikTok has me too. It's kind of the warfare, it's kind of like, and somehow they hadn't seen the video. And I had not listened to the video. I've got to keep my tissue because I'm really messed up right now. And I ain't listened to the video because I cannot stand to hear myself talk. I really can't. So I'd watched the closed caption, and I thought that I knew that. Never listened. But we sat there and listened to it last night. I started crying. Where's Jeff Springer at? Jeff Springer, who's one of the steadiest guys, never goes up and down emotions, came around my desk and grabbed me and just hugged me. What a moment. Bo was crying. I told John this last night. We spent 2 hours together talking about this. 1:30 this morning. And I said, I've listened to that video. I'm saying this sincerely. There's not one thing I heard in that video that will prompt me to give a nickel from what I said. John said the same thing, because he thinks like that. In a lot of ways, not everywhere, a lot of days. So I don't know what happened. God took an Appalachian voice, and he's touched at least 50 states, 2 or 3 foreign countries, all the way to Australia. I've talked on the phone with people, lost the phone rang at 10 o'clock, and this guy must be a janitor. He sounded like a person of color. He says, sir, is this the church of the guy on TikTok? Is this the church of the guy on TikTok? I said, this is the Appalachian Tap Hall right here. And he said, I just came to work. It was 6 o'clock his time. And the school, I'm saying this is janitor. He didn't know you either, Kevin, so and he said, I just heard the video. I'm crying. That's all I had to do, man. And he said, it's just touched me. in such a way. I thought, this guy's a janitor. Someone should get a donation. This guy's a janitor. A woman called from Michigan yesterday, and she said, I'm going to send a donation. I said, thank you. And she said, I'm not a believer. She said, I'm Muslim. I looked at her and I said, we both love the baby, don't we? We both love the baby. That's good. That's good. So, boy, Jeff, you all left. I got through the door, forgot my phone.
By now, you've seen this creator. I think it's Nikalie is how you pronounce her name. 3 days ago, this woman had just over 9,000 followers. As of this recording, which is Friday, the 7th of November, she has almost 215,000. I think this is the video that went viral the most. It's like up to 2 million views or something like that. But if you haven't seen so far, she's calling up churches in her local area in Kentucky and asking if, and pretending that she has a baby. She plays like crying music in the background and saying, hey, will you help my baby with baby formula? So again, if you follow, you've probably seen this. And it made me think of a lot of things, a few things. One, remember last year or 2 years ago, there was that black woman who was doing the whole series of her ex and all the trials and tribulations of dealing with this crazy ex. And they're now making a movie out of it. This almost kind of reminds me of the white version of that, in a sense that she has like she's up to like part 39. 39 churches she's called, and 9 out of those 39 churches have said yes. And I think it's on this call where she talked about how like she's not a Christian, and she doesn't go to church or anything like that. But she was so moved by, I think, the man at this church who was like a great grandfather, some old man, and he was like, I'll come out and help you. And she was so moved by it. And it just made me think about, again, the lost opportunity that the church has had. Imagine if every church in the world, in America, actually acted the way that most people think of Christ in terms of giving to the poor, helping the needy. Imagine if, as soon as November 1st hit and the SNAP benefits ended, every church in America was like, how much can we give? If you need food stamps, come over here. Imagine if during every economic downturn, every church in America was opening their doors to people who needed it. Imagine if during all these ICE raids, churches were sending out their people to protect the immigrants. Imagine if the church actually act like Christ, is my point. The power that they would have. This woman was moved by one man who said, I'll come help your baby. The church has missed an incredible opportunity to impact and change the world if they would only act like the person that they claim that they worship.
Did y'all see the post from the Appalachian man that owns that church? The bottom it says, this week has been one that is hard to put into words. I have seen God move for our church in a way I would not have believed if I hadn't have had a ringside seat. Tomorrow I will share with the greatest family of faith on God's green earth how good our God is. So humbled and honored to be your pastor. Love our church. And to all the people attacking that lady in her comments because of, she's got a fake baby and that she's testing the church. The Bible said God works through us and he tests us all the time. She's literally doing God's work because if they just give the right answer and they're just willing to help, they are blessed, beyond blessed. Do you know how many people donated to that church? If you go to her comments and see how many people donated, the first comment I read was, I'm atheist AF and I donated $100 because this is a man that even I can get behind. It is ridiculous. I can't imagine what that man is feeling just because he's right. He was right at, he had probably his phone in his passenger seat just at the right time, probably never has it on, and he picked it up and was completely just blessed. Joel Osteen's church wouldn't donate. That church has millions of dollars and would have just let a baby starve. Quite literally, that church needs to be reported to the IRS.
So I'm calling your church to test to see if they would help feed a starving baby. And right now I'm about to call Woodman Valley Chapel. This is a non-denominational church providing gospel-centered teaching and worship services on weekends. And they host various community events, groups, and ministries. So let's see if they would help feed a starving baby, though.
Please hold while I try to connect you. Woodman Valley Chapel. This is Dawn.
Hi, I was wanting to see if there was any way y'all could help with a small can of baby formula.
Sorry, you're kind of echoing. I can't hear. You're on speaker. Like, ma'am.
Yeah, can you hear me better now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, friend, have y'all seen the video of the lady on TikTok who's calling around saying she has a baby in like need of formula? It's a really eye-opening video. I'll tag her here in the bottom. What's concerning to me about this is, and it's something that I've been practicing for quite a while, is I no longer donate any of my funds to church when I go to church. I would rather just do random acts of kindness to people and not even think or worry about it. Because if anybody calls a church and a baby needs formula and they don't even say yes or even offer money out of their own pocket, what are we even doing? These are not the teachings of Jesus Christ, right? There should be zero reason that your pastor has zero designer clothes on or a super nice car or super this or super that, and we can't give a baby formula. I mean, formula at best is 10 to 20 bucks. I got 10 to 20 bucks. You're not taxed, and your job is to provide for the community. That's why you aren't taxed. Anyway, shit like that really pisses me off because at the bare fucking minimum, as a society, our babies should be able to be fed. And I don't care what the excuses are. So just do random acts of kindness. I stopped donating to church probably 2-3 years ago, and I was giving them hundreds of dollars a month. Now, when I see someone or a situation that might need some help, I'll just stop, ask, and provide assistance. That's the right thing to fucking do.
So I'm watching more of those videos where the woman is calling the church saying that she needs 1 can of baby formula, that she has a crying baby. And I have completely changed my mind about the whole situation. And I don't think that what she's doing is a good thing. I don't really know what her intention is. Now, the more that I've watched it and the more that I've listened to the way that she's talking to these people, because in an effect, what she's doing is she's putting these individual churches on blast, setting them up for possible harassment from the public. I'm also hearing the way that she's putting all of this, and if I were getting that phone call, I would think that she is a scam artist. I completely would think that she's a scam artist. She doesn't really give any information. She doesn't say like, hi, I'm really broke. I'm really poor. I'm so desperate for help. I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do. Because if someone is calling out of nowhere, sounding as calm as she is, and you don't have any family that can get you baby formula, there's no charities, pediatrics offices, food banks, any of these things, you're going to tell me that none of that is available to you. And to me, it is a major, major red flag. That's a major red flag just for me. You also have to understand that this is completely out of the ordinary for these churches to get a phone call like that. And then the way that she sounds, I myself have been scammed by women who pretend that they don't have anything and they're poor and they use so I don't think it's a good thing what she's doing. I think it would have been a better, more social experiment if she wasn't putting the individual churches on blast. So that's just how I feel. I don't think it's good. And if I were on the other end of that phone, I would think she was scamming me, which happens a lot.
28 no's, 9 yeses. 28 no's, 9 yeses. Ladies calling around churches saying that she has a 2-month-old baby that hasn't eaten because they ran out of formula, and she got a little baby crying in the background. She's not real, but she's testing the churches out to see who would say yes and no to a starving baby. 28 of them would say no. 28. 9 said yes. There was this old guy. He was like, I'm a great granddaddy, but he took the number and the name down and he was ready to go himself. And I thought that was the blueprint. But apparently those 20 other churches forgot the blueprint somewhere. I don't know. They're asking her questions like, did you call here? How about here? The Salvation Army, this, that, and the third? No, she called you and you're not helping. You're failing. You're failing the test right now. One of them said that she needed to be a member in order to receive like assistance like that. Another one said she could be put on a wait list that'll take a few days up to a week. That's crazy. The child is hungry now just for me. $51.99, $48.99, $187 for a 6-pack, $75.99, $39.99. You telling me the church don't got $100 to give this lady one little formula You don't got $100 to give this lady. She got to go through all these hoops and happy holidays, I guess. I would have never thought to test a church like this because they're the church. Like they supposed to help. Damn.
Happy Sunday. I'm a Palestinian Christian here. I want to talk about the lady who called 30 different churches and asked them to help her with baby formula, and only 3 of them helped out. As an Arab and as a Christian, I know 100%, just like the mosque she called, that if you go into any Arab establishment, Christian or Muslim, they're going to help you out with formula. So all you Christian Zionists, do better.
Has anybody gone down the rabbit hole of the girl that's like calling churches saying her baby needs formula? I mean, she's not asking for like a Thanksgiving dinner. She's just like, can you help me just get formula for the day? And all the pastors now are crashing out. Like, you can't just call us. You just can't. We just don't have money available. We blah, 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 blah. We can connect. What house you going into when you get home? What house you going into? How big is your driveway that you're driving up as you go home? What kind of car are you driving there, Pastor? You don't got $20 in your pocket? Everybody can't put a dollar together? Like, isn't that what that offering's for? I don't know.
That lady called all those Christian churches with her screaming, crying, hollering ass baby. It's a recording, but it's a screaming, hollering ass, crying ass baby in the background. And them people said, fuck you in that baby. We ain't got shit for you. Oh, and then one of those churches said, yeah, we can only do shit for our members. Did you call around? Did you use all of your resources? But she called the mosque. The mosque with no hesitation. Like the call that she had with the mosque was probably 5 fucking seconds before they was like, where are you? What kind of formula is it? Get your ass over here. We got you. Quick. Like, what do you mean? Oh, and then the two black churches. Same thing. The black people said, get your ass over here. We're going to help you and that fucking baby. Baby need milk? What kind of milk? We're going to get the fucking milk for the fucking baby. And then I think what also irritates me about this is because I've seen when I found out the lady was even going to be doing this type of experiment, I knew she would be turned down. I knew that. But I feel like what also pisses me off is because this is not an automated call. There are real life human beings on the fucking other end of that phone. And for them to be like, mind you, a can of formula is, I would say, between like $15 and $20. Not even the person on the phone, like, fuck what the church talking about. Fuck the church rules. Where you at? Like, I got $20. I can get you a can, and then I'm gonna call around and I'm gonna see if anybody can donate, and we're gonna get you a couple of cans of milk.
And it wasn't just the black churches either. It was a mosque, a Hindu temple, and there was an Appalachian church that I get the gut feeling the church itself didn't have a whole lot. And there is another lesson to be learned in this. Religion is no longer religion, it's politics. And that's part of the reason why those people felt so comfortable saying no to this woman, is because religious organizations, Christian organizations are mainly political now. No matter what they say, they are political. One of the churches, even when the guy answered, he said, well, when the Joe Obama regime took over, which, like, Obama hasn't been in office for how long? Like, he's all like, we don't have any money now because they took over and ruined everything. But this is the second Trump presidency. Like, the fuck are you talking about? But either way, the second that politicians realized that they could use religion as a way to get more votes, religion itself, Christianity specifically itself, became political.
And that's part of the reason why the teachings have gotten so far away from what is in the book, is because now it isn't about doing the things that Jesus Christ taught them. It is about doing the things that society will reward, i.e., being greedy, runaway capitalism, having control over other people's bodies, which is reflected in the Republican Party, which is something that is reflected in a lot of these churches. So please believe that part of the reason why Julie, Bobby, and Karen will not dig into their own pockets to help this woman is because they believe that she does not deserve help. She's just another person that's a drain on the economy, and that's it. Their taxpayer dollars are already going to her, so why would I give you anything more? That's really what it is. It's politicized.
There's a woman, I'm going to tag her below. She is doing a social experiment where she is calling churches across the United States, asking them if they would help her in buying a small baby formula. She puts a baby sound in the background, and the majority of the churches that she's reached out to have said no. And the baby formula, mind you, that she's asking for, which is a small size, is between $5 to like $10. So it's not even that much money. And the only people that have said yes so far is a Buddhist temple, Black Baptist church, a Catholic, I think there's maybe 2 or 3 Catholic churches, and then a mosque. And people are truly surprised that the white Christian churches and the white Christian mega churches are automatically saying no. There have been people that she has reached out to, and they have hung up on her, this mother in need. And I think that this is a huge issue here, because what we don't realize, a lot of these white American Christian churches that exist around the United States, they're the ones who are pushing policy and politic decisions across America. They are not necessarily rooted in faith, as we can see. They are rooted in business. And what they do is that they leverage kind of the positives of being a nonprofit church when it comes to like the tax breaks, when it comes to just like being recognized and seen, being able to quickly garner an audience that will give you money. And they do that, and they pretty much, like, I don't even know how else to say it, but they expose their attendees, they expose their patrons, and they take money from them and they profit off of that. So these are not institutions that are truly faith-based, and they're rooted in goodness, and they're rooted in the Bible, and they're rooted in, everybody is a community, and we're together, and we rise together, and we help one another because that is God's will. They are rooted in, if you do not give money to us, then we are not going to support you, and it is very transactional. And that's where we get into this discourse during like all the politics, everything that happened with the election, and people are like, how is someone who is supposed to be so faith-based, and they're huge in like the Christian community, etc., like voting for someone like Donald Trump, or pretty much for all of these harmful laws? And it's because they truly are not faith-based. These are not people who are like educated in religion. These are people who want to succeed from like a business perspective, and what they're doing is they're just optimizing their views, and they're optimizing the views of their audience to support them in succeeding in that. So I'm personally not surprised at all that these churches are hanging up on her. What is so disheartening is the fact that she's doing this as a social experiment to bring awareness, which I think is a genius idea. But what's horrible is that there are people and there are families that truly need support and are consistently being turned away. And people are hiding behind their religion, hiding behind their church, when they will not help someone in need. And that's where people are like, oh, well, all these like, like outside of like the white American Christian base, people like other churches, other denominations, like other religions are supporting and helping. It's like, of course, because these people they are truly faith-based organizations that are not for profit, that are here to support one another. Yeah, let me know if you want me to dive deeper. Please follow this creator. I think what she's doing is incredible.
Call my church, please call my church, because I need to know. As someone who attends church regularly and we tithe, I need to see what their response is going to be. If you don't know what I'm talking about, there's a lady on TikTok. She's been calling churches all over and seeing if they will help her get baby formula. And most of them said no. Out of like 30 churches, 4 or 5 of them said yes. Churches have tax breaks. They have tax incentives. They get tithes and offerings. They're supposed to support the community, whether the people that need support attend their church and tithe or not. I tagged her below. Go scroll through her videos and see, and let me know what you think. If you've seen it, let me know what you think in the comments, because I'm really disturbed by this as someone who is Christian and who attends church and tithes.
Hey, so if you're at Germantown Baptist Church, I need you to record today's sermon. I need to see the reaction. I need to see what the pastor says. Please do us all this kind service.
Not a single prayer or invite to a Sunday service for Nikalie, the creator that's been calling churches with a crying baby in the background, asking for a small can of formula to feed her starving infant. Yeah, she's had, I think, 30 no's, 9 yeses. Of the 9, 1 was a mosque, 1 was a Buddhist temple, 2 were Catholics. 1 Christian church actually said, call the Catholics. I believe all the no's have been Christian churches, and not a single one has invited her to join the church or come to service or to pray for her, while telling her benevolence is for members only. That's a direct quote from somebody. And turning her and her starving, crying baby away. Christ-like.
Have we seen the lady calling churches asking for 1 can of baby formula? Saying her 2-month-old baby hasn't eaten since last night? You don't do that here. I'll pray for you. Your neighbor? Goodwill? Have you tried the food pantry? That one mission down the street? Sorry, we can't help. You could call 911. Doesn't sound like Jesus. Not asking for money. She's not asking to pay her rent. Asking to feed an infant. Some stepped in and stepped up. It's all exposed now. Where does your church stand? Where do you stand? I'll go get you formula right now. I'll find it. I'll sell something. I will go get it for you. If a man asks you for a shirt, give him your coat also. If a man asks you to walk 1 mile with him, walk 2. Aren't even doing the bare minimum. Let us all learn a lesson. Prayer is great, but do something if you can. We, the church, can't just preach on things. The hands and feet, active participants in what God wants us to do, giving us opportunities, check us, for us to check ourselves. Would you help the baby? Please say you would. I would. I love you.
This creator, Nikalie, with almost 400,000 followers, decided to do a social experiment. She called churches, asking them for baby formula for her child, and you'd be surprised the response that she got almost every single time. She asks churches for help with baby formula for an infant child.
I don't really have any resources to do that right now. The account where I have to give to community members. No, we don't help with formula at all. Have you talked to anybody like at CCC?
Yeah, I've been calling everywhere all day.
Oh, okay. We are a small church, and as a result, we have limited funds, and so we tend to help those that are part of the church or come to the church. Because the people that are right around you, local.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay. Bye. We really don't have an estimated time. But a lot of the questions here, each applicant is different. It could take a couple days. It could take a couple weeks. We just don't have a time frame there.
Okay, you said it would take a couple of days to weeks?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, if approved.
Okay, all right, thank you.
She has turned this social experiment into a series on her account. She's basically exposing churches in her community, in the area. She does speak with a few churches that the person that she's talking to offers her money from her own personal wallet. So that's kind of people. But for the most part, a lot of churches don't offer any help. And as always, people on the right are having a cow because, like, why is she doing this? Who does she think she is? She's someone who gives a shit. And I think it's great that she's exposing, the church system, because don't they ask us for money all the time? Nikalie, she's very relatable. I caught a little bit of her live recently. She had almost 3,000 people in her live listening.
That, like, the ugliest trailer in the trailer park was what I grew up in. Like, we did not have money. My mom went all the time without eating to make sure me and my sister got fed. And we relied on food stamps too. So, like, this whole government shutdown, like, I mean, my mom had food stamps back when it was like the paper money, because I'm old, I'm like 41. So, yeah, like, there's people that really, really depend on it. And I was one of them when I was a kid,
What an interesting story indeed. What do you think? Should churches help people more? I mean, do they do enough? Leave a comment. Tell me how you feel. Don't forget to follow me for more hot takes, celebrity news, and drama.
there is a social experiment right now where a woman calls churches and she's pretending to be a mother in need who needs baby formula for her baby who didn't have food since last night. The goal of this social experiment is to test churches to see if they're willing to help mothers in need. Now, from what I can see, 1 in 3 to 1 in 4 churches are actually helping this mother in need. And I think that is a sad situation. However, I think they're just calling, if you're calling a church, you're talking to a secretary, you're not talking to a priest, you're talking to somebody who works there as an employee, or maybe possibly a volunteer just to pick up calls and see what they can do. Doesn't necessarily mean they have the possibility of actually helping in that situation. We don't know their situation. Now, a lot of people are attacking Christianity, but I want to let you know that if you're an atheist and you're watching this video, you're 40% less likely to donate than a Christian. You're 40% less likely to help somebody in need than a Christian. That is a fact. So I understand they should be helping. I am not denying that fact. But Christians are 40% more likely to help somebody in need than anybody else. The largest charitable organization on the face of the planet is the Roman Catholic Church. Now, this girl didn't call very many Catholic churches. This is America. It's a predominantly Protestant country. But the Catholic Church is the largest charitable organization on the face of the planet, by far. Throughout history, they've also been the largest charitable organization. Now, churches, many are facing closing down because people are becoming atheists. This is a fact. And as we become less atheist, we tend to go towards democratic socialism. We need all these other things, we need a new daddy basically to help us because people are no longer going to church. They're no longer donating to the church in the first place. Now, one last argument people were making was we need to start taxing the churches. What are they even for? Well, churches themselves are not taxed because they aren't selling a product or a service. You go there and they hope you will donate to the cause so the church can grow, so the church can get in new people. But a lot of churches are going bankrupt or facing bankruptcy or being closed down all across America, all across Europe. That's because society is becoming atheistic. And atheists, they love to wave their finger in your face, but they don't do anything for society. They don't actually help one another. 40%. I was on the street in New York City just the other day, and somebody was dying on the street, dead on the street, actually. And if I would have came there as a Christian, I would have checked on that body. I would have checked to see if he was okay. He probably would have survived if I would have got there earlier, but he was dead on the street in New York City, this atheistic city. And that's just how things go. You know, it's tough. It's a tough world. An atheistic world is a disgusting, tough world. And that's all.
So I'm breaking from my bankruptcy talk this week to address this, which is Nikalie, who, as of this video, has called 30 churches, 30, to ask if they would help with formula, like $20, to help her starving baby. And out of 30, only 9 of them have agreed. Now, I'm talking about this because I live in the Bible Belt. And when I worked for the nonprofit, at that time during COVID, we were part of the rent relief program. So people were calling and getting their rent relief, and we were able to help in that way, which was amazing. A lot of people were able to stay in their homes because of that. Well, once that ended, we ran out of funds. Obviously, the money wasn't there. Everything ran dry. So we were saying, hey, why don't you call churches? So then we ended up calling churches. And not one. We have so many churches in this Bible Belt. We have mega churches. We have churches upon churches. And of all the churches we called, not one said, yeah, sure, we'll help, or we'll help with a little bit, or not one. So tell me again why we are not taxing the churches. Tell me again why they are not being held accountable for not helping people. And we heard the same thing, just like you do in Nikalie's videos. Sorry, we help our members only. And that was part of the deals with the churches getting their tax exempt, was to help the people who needed help. And they are being exposed. They're not helping people. And how do we even know that they're helping the people within their congregation? So I'm very appreciative for her doing this because it is fantastic. And, you know, if you go to a church that helps people, no matter whether they're part of the church or not, great, wonderful, awesome. We need more of you. But it's extremely frustrating watching these mega churches and these pastors drive these fancy cars, build these extreme churches, and have these concerts every Sunday, but then say, sorry, we can't help you with $20 baby formula. So, hi, my name is Beth. I help people go from flat broke to financially free. I talk about everything from building your credit to bankruptcy to saving to sinking funds and all that good stuff. Also, the mindset.
That lady that's calling all the churches to see if they'll help her hungry baby get baby formula, you're doing God's work. Growing up, I was never into religion too much. Nobody ever pushed it. Nobody pushed it on me. We didn't go to church on Sundays. We didn't have a Bible in our house. But I recently just got baptized a couple months ago. And to see a lot of the churches that she's calling aren't even they're not even making an effort to try and help her. You can tell when someone's trying to make an effort. There are some that are blatantly just hanging up on her, which is crazy to me. I tithe. I tithe every single time I go to church. Now, I don't necessarily care where my money goes, but I would hope that my tithes would go to helping people who would call in that situation. Before I got baptized, I'd be on here talking about, oh yeah, you see, a lot of these churches, man, they ain't really about it like they say they are. But to me now, that's a person issue. Whoever's on the other end of that phone doesn't give a damn. Me personally, I'm not blaming the church for that. I'm blaming the person on the other end of the phone. Because I know if it was me, I'd be on the other end like, look, we can't really do much here for the church. But what's your address? I got a few extra dollars I can send your way to help. Or if you can get down here, I can help you get that formula.
So I'm calling your church to test to see if they would help feed a starving baby. And right now I'm going to be calling the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And this one is located in Columbia, South Carolina. So we are going to call and see if they would be able to help.
Hello?
Hi, I was wanting to see if y'all could help with a can of formula. I have a 2-month-old and she ran out of formula last night. So she's been going all night and all day without anything to eat.
We unfortunately cannot help with that. Sorry.
Y'all don't help with baby formula or like anything?
I don't, not that I know of. No, sorry.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Pastor Thomas Burke came on here and said that the church is not obligated to help you out in your time of need. And they have shown us this multiple times. Like when there was a hurricane and Joel Osteen did not open up his mega church in Texas. Now that people are starving, the church has nothing to give them, nothing.
Have you guys been seeing those videos where the woman is calling into the churches, asking the churches if they will help her and her baby get baby formula? Where the woman is calling in and saying that she ran out of baby formula and needs help from the church, seeing if these churches would actually help her. I am absolutely blown away with the amount of churches that are not helping her. And even more worse, a majority of the churches that are denying her are these Christian churches. And remember, these churches get massive tax breaks, and a lot of the churches that are actually helping her are the Islamic churches, as well as churches that are predominantly black and Hispanic. And even more insaner, she has a bunch of videos. I can't even watch them all, but allegedly one of the churches blamed Joe Biden. And even more sadder, I just looked up how much baby formula costs. It's like $20 for a massive tub. And you would think for all of the tax breaks that churches get, it's the least they could do. And go and search for her name right now. Her name is Nikalie. And sadly, a lot of these white Christian churches need to do a lot more better. And the most biggest issue to me is that she is asking for baby formula, not even for money. This is for a baby. Some of these churches should be ashamed of themselves. Do you think churches should give free baby formula?
I'm no multi-million-dollar church or anything like that. But if a mother called me and told me that she needed some formula to feed her baby, I'm going to get that formula. Like, I don't care if I have to put the formula on Afterpay. I don't care if I have to steal it. I'm going to feed that baby. And I think that you have to be an exceptionally evil person to not want to feed a baby, to say no to feeding a baby, to say no to feeding anyone, but especially a baby.
A pastor has come forward to address the social experiment where churches have been miserably failing to provide a community member with 1 can of baby formula for her hungry newborn. And I fear he did not help the cause. He could have done one of two things. He could have either addressed the churches that have said no, reminded them what the Bible says. He could have offered some action items of how they can, be involved with the community and provide for the community. He could have done many things addressing the churches. Or he could have addressed people, Christians, especially those who are feeling disappointed and anger. I've seen so many videos of people saying that's why they left the church, right? And a lot of people who attend these churches that said no are feeling really disappointed. He could have addressed these people. He should have offered words of comfort to all of these people who are sort of feeling religiously homeless, right? They're saying, I'm still Christian. I still follow the faith, but I don't go to church because I have been disappointed by churches time and time again. He should have spoken directly to these people and said, hey, what these churches are doing is not representative of the Christian faith. Here, let me read some Bible verses. Literally anything other than what he did, which is to come on here wearing a robe and doubling down and saying that churches are not required to help. And then he talked about churches being scammed. All very bizarre, Pastor. And then he went private. So he's not even allowing people the opportunity to continue this conversation. It's very cowardly.
Ring! Hello, we feed babies and love them. How can we help? Ring ding ding! New case of infant formula. Who dis? What do you mean if I'm being serious, Bethany? I'm about to feed every baby in this state if I have to. Have you seen the comments? They're trying to audit us. We got formula, diapers, baby clothes, you name it, we got it. What you need. Or you know Pastor Bishop brother just got a new Bentley. Bethany, you don't want to know how much he spent on those baby Panther seat covers. They are buttery soft. Bethany, have you ever heard of that being part of the package? You know how hard it is to catch a panther, much less a baby panther? I'm sorry, ma'am, can you hold on just a moment? Don't look at me like that, Bethany. I'm not the one who just got back from an all-expenses-paid trip to Guadalajara, okay? Mission trip my ass. And honey, you just named the price, okay? I saw the video you posted about us. I feel so bad about it now because you know how hard it's going to be for us to pay for that private jet if more of those videos come out. How much do you want? You want us to pay your mortgage for like 6 months or something? Yeah, I'll just call you back and I'll act like it was all a misunderstanding, okay? I'll even fire Bethany if I have to. Keep looking at me like that, Bethany. Say I won't. Say I. We are so sorry. We will give you all the infant formula. We will give you a bathtub of infant formula. We will give you a brand new house full of infant formula.
Thank you for watching Great Minds Blacks.